A glorious good afternoon to everyone and welcome to my presentation. Let me introduce myself. I am Sanjana Sveru, studying in 8th standard at TSWREIS JC Girls, Chinnabonala, Rajana Sisila district. Friends, before going to start our topic, what are the different kinds of goods available across the world in various countries? To find the answer for this question, let's have a look at them. Let's take China. China is a very popular country in the world. Most popular food is noodles, be it economy, history, culture, art, sports, etc. Apart from all these, number one producer is gold. Friends, now let's go to America. United Nations of America is the peaceful country in the world. Most people say that America is the country of opportunities. The most preferable brand of telecommunication is Apple. Next, if we take Japan, it is a land of great natural beauty and fastest growing country in the field of technology. Next, Toyota is the most popular automobile and it is manufactured in Japan. Let's have a look at Saudi Arabia. It is well known for its petroleum products. Next, if we take Canada, Canada is a very peaceful country with worldwide reputation. The most popular brand is BlackBerry and it is manufactured in Canada. Now about our nation India. India is famous for unity in diversity. India is the major producer of rice in the central world and Micromax offers a wide range of smartphones, laptops, tablets, etc. It is currently the second largest company in India. Friends, as we discussed above, there are various goods manufactured in various countries all over the world. The countries exchange the goods, thus increasing free trade, communication and technology among them. By all these, what did you guess? It is all because of globalization. Friends, now we are going to learn, is globalization good or bad? Before going to our topic, here are my objectives. Students will be able to know about the globalization. Students will be able to know the advantages and disadvantages of globalization. Students able to know to understand the three aspects of globalization. Students will be able to know the impact of globalization. Friends, coming back to our topic, first we are going to learn the history of globalization. Thomas Alfred Mann divides the history of globalization into three periods. Globalization 1.0, 1492 to 1800. Globalization 2.0, 1800 to 2000. Globalization 3.0, 2002 at present. The states that globalization 1.0 involved the globalization of countries. The globalization 2.0 involved the globalization of companies. The globalization 3.0 involved the globalization of individuals. Even as early prehistoric period, the globalization started in the late 15th century when the two kingdoms of Iberian Peninsula, Portugal and Castile sent the first exploratory voyages around the Cape of Good Hope to the Americans, discovered in 1942 by Christopher Columbus. Friends, let's move to the history of globalization in India. The arrival of Vasco da Gama in Calicut on May 20, 1498 opens a sea route from Europe to the east. After that, India became the center for attraction for European trade. So, in the late 18th century, the Europeans started trading in India by exporting raw materials from India to their country and importing products to India. The Indian government, after independence, had put barriers to foreign trade and foreign investment. This was considered necessary to protect the producers within the country. This decision has supported by powerful international organizations. Industries were just coming up from 1950s to 1960s and at that stage could not allow these industries to survive. Thus, India allowed imports at only essential items such as petroleum, fertilizers, machines, etc. However, around 1991, some far-reaching changes in policy were made in India. The Indian government, after independence, had put barriers to foreign trade and foreign investment. Now, we can go to the definition of globalization. Friends, globalization today is the process of rapid integration as interconnection between countries. Globalization is a major change that occurred across the globe in the late 20th century. It has political, cultural as well as economic dimensions of globalization. There are mainly three types of movements within international economic exchanges. The first is the flow of trade in goods as well as services. The second is the flow of labors, the migration of people in search of employment. The third is the movement of capital as short-term, long-term investments over long distances. Besides political, cultural as well as economic dimensions of globalization. In simple terms, it is a continuous process through which different societies, economics, culture integrate with each other on a global scale through the means of communication and interchange of ideas. Now, another milestone in the history of globalization is the creation of the World Trade Organization, which led to the growth of a uniform platform to settle trade and commercial disputes. According to economic survey, the world exports improved significantly from 8.5% to around 16.2% due to the globalization. Friends, now we are going to learn the present situation of globalization. Today, it has become the fastest growing economics in the world with an average growth rate of 6.7%. There has also been a significant rise in per capita income and standard of living. Factors that have enabled globalization, technology and liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment policies. Now we are going to discuss technology. Rapid growth of technology has become the major factor that developed the globalization process. For instance, the part of 50 years, we have seen several improvements in transportation technology. As a result, the goods deliver faster across long distances of lower cost. The developments in information and communication technology have even more remarkable and rapid telecommunication facilities like telegraph, telephone, including mobile phones, and fax are used to contact one another around the world and to access information instantly and to communicate from remote areas. This has been facilitated by satellite communication devices. Internet also allows us to send instant electronic mails as email and talk voicemail across the world at negligible cost. Second factor, liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment policies. However, around 1991, the government felt that competition have improved the performance of producers within the country since they would have to improve their quality. Then, thus the finance minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, initiated the economic liberalization plan. Then, which states that barriers on foreign trade and foreign investment has been changed the policy. Removing barriers or restrictions set up by the government is known as liberalization. Trade, business are allowed to make freely decisions about what they wish to export or import among the countries, and the government imposes less restrictions than earlier. In addition to this, now we are going to learn MNCs, multinational corporations. In the past 3 or 4 decades, more and more MNCs have been looking for locations around the world for which could we make production cheaper for them. Foreign investments by MNCs in these countries has been rising rapidly at the same time. A large part of foreign trade is also controlled by MNCs. The result of greater foreign trade and greater foreign investment has been the greater integration of production and markets across the countries. Friends, now we are going to learn the institutions of global governance. Today, many decisions on key issues that affect a large part of the world. Let's have a look at them. Let's take WTO, World Trade Organization. WTO is an organization whose aim is to liberalize the international trade. Nearly 164 countries of the world are the currently members of the WTO. WTO officially commenced on 1st January 1995 under the Marrakesh Agreement, which was signed by 123 nations on April 15, 1994, replacing the General Agreement of TSAT and Trade. WTO deals with regulation of trade in goods as well as services and intellectual property between participating countries and adherence to the WTO agreements. Adherence to WTO agreements enforcing participants is known as WTO. WTO officially commenced on 1st January 1995. There are a number of ways of looking at the WTO. Is an organization for liberalizing trade. It's a form of governments to recognize trade agreements. It's a place for them to settle disputes. It operates a system of trade rulers. WTO is an organization. The WTO prohibits discrimination between trading partners, protection and national security and other important goods. The WTO current Director General is Roberto Azevedo, who leads a staff over 600 people in Geneva, Switzerland. Now we are going to learn the advantages and disadvantages of globalization. First, we are going to learn advantages. Globalization as allows us to get all our resources together. Globalization would make it easier for people to cheat. Globalization could reduce labor exploitation issues. Globalization would reduce currency manipulation problems, creates easy and speed of transportation for goods and for people, improves medical supplies that can increase the life expansion of human beings, greater innovations and developments in products and technology. Global mass media ties the world together. Local construction companies lack the technical and managerial capability to undertake most of the foreign funded projects. Now we are going to learn disadvantages of globalization. Spread of a material lifestyle and attitude that sees consumption as the path to prosperity. Globalization would not prevent resource consumption. Globalization would make it easier for people to cheat. Globalization would negatively impact on the environment. Threats to the global governance, irresponsible damage to ecosystems, land degradation, loss of biodiversity, deforestation, and the fears of a permanent shortage of water that afflicts millions of the world's most vulnerable. Macroeconomic fragility, extend economic shocks in region can rapidly spread to other countries. Globalization had decreased the labor exploitation issues. Widening gap between rich and poor is increased inequalities. As a result, the globalization can also help in spreading the ideas and goods that are dangerous. In the same way, the globalization can be shared medical advertisements, terrorist information just as quickly. As a result, the gap between rich and poor, rich become richer and poor become poorer. Friends, now we are going to learn the impact of globalization. Service sector is a lifeline for the social economic growth of a country. The real reason for the growth of service sector is due to the increase of urbanization, privatization and more demand for intermediate and final consumer services. In advanced economies, the growth in the primary and secondary sectors are directly depending on the services like banking, insurance, trade, commerce, entertainment, etc. There is a greater choice between these consumer services who are now enjoy these improved quality and low prices for several products. In advanced economies, as a result, the gap between rich and poor rich enjoy the MNCs have been increased mostly in India, and MNCs have been interested on services and industries such as data entry, accounting and administrative tasks are now being done, and industries like cell phones, electronics and automobiles. Now we are going to learn the dark side of globalization. On the other side of the medal, there is a long list of the worst of the times, the foremost casually being the agriculture sector, with more than half of the population are directly depending on this sector. Then the globalization has low per capita income and standard of living and increases the rural indebtedness. Globalization, the agriculture growth of 3.2% observed from 1980s to 1997 decelerated to 2% subsequently. Friends, now we are going to learn the conclusion of my topic. Globalization today is evident and undeniable. It has increased the trade of production as well as goods and ideas, technology, etc. and increased the comfort of people. It helps in creating the world as a united nation without boundaries. Many countries have been recognized globally and emerging as multinational and powerful countries in the world. Globalization may have advantage, but it also have its own side effects. It is unequally distributed. Through the globalization, the ideas of great minds are being suppressed, and the globalization, people are showing their interest on foreign products rather than their own country products. Local companies are not getting required encouragement to withstand global companies. So, it is necessary to protect our local culture and traditions from homogenizing effects of globalization. Domination of richer countries on smaller countries is increased by globalization. We need to fight for the dark side of globalization, for which the government should play its role, and it should be a set of rules on foreign trade for the reduction of demerits of globalization. Finally, globalization is a double-edged sword and it is inevitable. It should provide opportunity. Those who take advantage, they flourish. Those who do not, they sink. It has benefited the well-off consumers as well as producers. With skill, education and huge amount of wealth, certain services have expanded easily. The domination have influenced the government, and the matter of policy of foreign countries is increased by globalization. Thank you for giving this golden opportunity. I grab this opportunity to thankful to Telangana state government for taking such a wonderful initiative of introducing such a wonderful program TSAT channel as a medium for learning things. The main union of TSAT channel is to educate and empower the young generation of Telangana. It is useful for the overall developments of a student. I wish to express my special thanks to our beloved Secretary Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar Sir and my beloved Principal Madam Miss Jacqueline Madam and my mentor teacher Miss Jayanti Madam and to all my teachers and friends who have supported and encouraged me to be a super student. I feel great to be a part of this channel as a super student. Once again, I would like to thanks to our Telangana State Government TSAT channel, and to my principal madam, and especially to my mentor teacher, and who are beyond my success. Thank you one and all.